Today's customer success is about smart banking. So our agenda, we're going to talk about the advantages of smart banking. We're going to talk about the banks that we partner with for the smart banking. We're going to talk about the automatic validation updates. We're going to talk about the automatic lockbox processing that you can choose. Now, just because you use smart banking doesn't mean you use all these options, but you could. So you could just use the validation or just use the lockbox, or we're also going to talk about the bank transaction downloads, which is the bank rec. And then also, if you're using Alliance Association Bank, just with Alliance, you can have manual statement downloads. So if you're not banking with Alliance and you think you'd be interested in the manual statement downloads, talk to your Alliance rep about switching banks if you feel like that is something good for your business. All right. First of all, we're going to go over the advantages. Some of the advantages that we have four. Usually we have three. Today we have four. The first one is the automatic validation updates. And this updates the bank on any changes made to an owner's payment flag or account information. So validation updates, what this is when the bank asks for that validation file. A lot of times the bank will say, hey, I need a hold payment file or a validation file. That's what they're asking for. So this automatically sends that. You never have to think about it. Number two, automatic lockbox processing distributes payments from homeowners to the appropriate property. So those of you that run Lockbox, this will no longer be part of your day. You'll save that time because it will automatically run lockbox processing for you. Now, that's something you turn on. Remember, everything that I'm telling you is a choice. This does not all come together. You can choose to turn some on, but not others, or all on. But you can have automatic lockbox processing if you would like. Number three, bank transaction download. So retrieving and viewing bank transactions to easily reconcile that actual bank balance versus TOPS 1. So doing bank rec. This will automatically download those balances and those items so that you can easily do your bank rec. Now, a misconception is that when you have smart banking, you never have to reconcile your bank again, and that's not true. I want everyone to know that even though you have smart banking with the auto bank rec, you will still need to go in and save it and say that it's okay. So again, that's a misconception. You get smart banking, you never have to do check rec again, and that's not true. You do have to do the check rec. Number four, the statement manual download. So this is only available with Alliance Association Bank. So it will basically download the bank account monthly statements without ever leaving the site. So you can stay in TOPS 1, it will pull in your bank statements automatically when using that Alliance Association Bank. And like I said, if that's something that sounds like you'd be interested in, absolutely go ahead and do that. All right, so let's continue on. These are the banks that we have that use the smart banking that we partner with. So your bank may have smart banking, but not with TOPS. These are the banks we do partner with. These are the banks you could use or would need to transfer your accounts to use the smart banking with TOPS 1. The first one is Alliance Association Bank, we discussed, and that has a alias of AAB. I just thought I'd put the aliases in here because that's the alias or the ID for the bank you would put in the system. The other one is BB&T. I think that's Banking Branch and Trust, I think is what BB&T stands for, and its alias is also BB&T. We have Mutual of Omaha, MOO. Now, Mutual of Omaha is going to be the bank that those of you that are using CAB, Community Association Bank, became Mutual of Omaha, so you may know it as Community Association Bank or CAB. That's actually Mutual of Omaha. With these banks, they keep changing names, and so some of us are still stuck with the CAB when in fact it is Mutual of Omaha, MOO. Pacific Premier Bank, PPBI. So Pacific Premier Bank is another bank, and then also Union Bank, UB, Union Bank. So these are our banks that use the smart banking. Again, unfortunately, we don't have any besides these. If your bank is interested in doing smart banking with TOPS One, just let us know and we'll get everybody in touch with the right people so that they can apply for that. But for now, these are the ones we have on board: Alliance Association Bank, BB&T, Mutual of Omaha, Pacific Premier Bank, and Union Bank. And again, if you don't bank with them, they would be more than happy to take your business and assist you in getting that set up. All right, let's talk about the smart banking settings options. So to use the smart banking, you have to have a couple of things set up. Now, to get to the settings, you're going to go to the portfolio drop down on the left-hand side of your navigation bar. Now, I know we have this little image on the right, but technically, when you're looking at your TOPS One, the navigation bar is on the left-hand side. You're going to click on portfolio and you're going to click the drop down for banks. And when you get into the banks section, you're going to locate and click the bank you want to manage. So you'll see your list of banks that are there. And I can show you this later if we have time. But you'll see your list of banks and you'll actually click on the bank that you want. And then under actions inside that bank, and I'm not talking about bank accounts, just simply the bank name. Under actions, you'll say edit bank, and that's how you'll know you're at the right place, is it will say edit bank. And that's our image on the right-hand side where it says edit bank. That's what you're looking for, actions, edit bank. And then you'll scroll down and inside there, you'll see smart banking settings. So you'll see those smart banking settings and it will look something like this. Now, these smart banking settings that you're seeing include bank statement, and that's because that's our Alliance Association Bank, remember. But if you don't see bank statement, don't be alarmed. You still would have bank reconciliation, lockbox, and validation file, unless for some reason your bank doesn't have all those options. Still, don't be alarmed. It probably is just something to do with the bank that you're using, and you can contact your customer success rep and we can kind of discuss that with you. Under the smart banking settings, next to each option, there's a little gear icon, and that's how you manage your settings. Now on screen, see how the gear, next to the gear is a little dash, and the dash indicates that none of these settings are turned on. The dash means off. And to the right, if you look at the red arrows pointing at the green check boxes, once the smart banking settings are turned on, that's what you'll see. You'll see the green check boxes. So if you are looking at your smart banking settings and they all are dashes, those are not set up. So even though you have the smart banking, you want to make sure that the smart banking is turned on. And if it's not turned on, you will not see the green check boxes. Very, very, very important there. So some of the settings they have, the bank reconciliation, remember, is separate from bank statement, separate from lockbox, separate from validation file. So these are where you get set up. Now, to get the settings for smart banking, which it doesn't show you on the screen, is it's going to ask you for a login, a username, a password, and sometimes an IP address. All those things you'll get from your bank. A lot of people that are coming in for smart banking don't realize that TOPS and TOPS One and TOPS employees do not have the settings for smart banking. Those come from your bank representative. Now, if you're having trouble getting those settings from your bank representative, your TOPS One customer success rep can step in and help you contact the bank and let them know what you need. Sometimes I suggest taking a screenshot of the screen that says the login and then sending that to your bank representative saying, look, this is what I need, so they better understand that that's a login that they give you. But again, if you have any trouble, just let us know and we will contact the bank with you and get that set up. But those are your smart banking settings. All right. And by the way, everything that I'm telling you is in the knowledge base. So if you go into the knowledge base for the knowledge base articles in the help section of your TOPS 1 and do a search for smart banking, there is a plethora of information, tons of information in that knowledge base. And I can show you how to find that in a little bit. All right, so let's talk about the smart banking options. These are the features in smart banking. So when you come in there, this is the screen you're going to see in the settings. So like I said before, when you log in and you get those settings, let me just go back a page. So when you click on the gear, the little gear, it opens up to a page like this. So you have a username, a password. This one has a management company authorization key and a property manager ID. Again, all these things come from the bank. So you would just take a screenshot of this, send it to the bank and say, these are the things I need. Now in the screen, you have a view log at the top right-hand corner. The view log will show you a log of all transactions from this bank through smart banking. So you can go to that setting if you need to. And then after you fill out the username, the password, the authorization key, etc. Oh, sorry, at the bottom, you will have your communities here. Whoops, go back. Your communities, and you make sure that you enable your communities. You can enable all or disable all, or you can enable them one at a time. Remember, if you don't enable them, it will not turn them on, and so you're not completing the smart banking. And then you should have a save button or an action or save on the screen, and then that will save the settings. And then after you save them, it becomes this green checkbox, and that's how you know you've completed it. Now, if you put any of the incorrect information in the username, the password, etc., it will give you an error and it will not save. Again, contact your bank or contact us to contact the bank with you in order to get that information. All right, so let's talk about the different options there. First of all, let's talk about the validation file. So this is the automatic validation settings. So remember, the validation files are the file that the bank requests to know proper names, proper addresses, if they have a hold payment flag. So the validation file in TOPS gives the bank up-to-date information regarding your homeowners. And this file is essential to making sure your owner payments that are sent in are being recorded in the correct homeowner's ledger. For example, if you have a resale, it will tell the bank if there was a resale so it doesn't pay the wrong one. And it will also update the bank on owners that have a hold payment flag. So on the property screen at the very bottom, our example at the bottom is a property screen with the hold payment flag with the green checkbox that's telling us that the green checkbox that they do have a hold payment for some reason. And hold payments usually come about whenever people go perhaps to the attorney. If somebody goes into collection and goes to the attorney, usually you're not allowed to receive payments from them because payments must go through the attorney, and then the hold payment flag is turned on. This will tell the bank this person is under a hold payment and not to accept their payments. So that's important. And with smart banking, the validation file is sent automatically to the bank, so they always have an updated list of homeowners account information. This is saving you time. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to make the file and email it to the bank. You don't have to worry about the bank having incorrect information. It does all that for you. All right. The next option you have is automatic lockbox processing. So basically, with a lockbox, after a homeowner sends their payment to the bank processes these payments and TOPS 1 automatically searches the lockbox file every day. So at the day that the owner makes the payment, the lockbox file will be brought into the system that day or at the latest the next day, depending on time of day when the payment is made and received in the bank and cleared in the bank. Then of course it will become part of the lockbox file coming into the system. And this also is a single file, can have payments for homeowners through multiple communities. So it doesn't have to be per community. The Lockbox file will have all communities that use the Lockbox function. And once this file is uploaded, TOPS1 will attempt to distribute the payments in the appropriate order. And that means that it basically will receive the Lockbox and the payments will go to the homeowner's account, post on their history with no work from you. Again, this is time saving. People that have to receive lockboxes every day, that's 10 minutes of your day, sometimes longer if it has errors. You will have to sit there and go through it. So this is time saving. Sending that validation file, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, depending on the size and how long it takes to receive the file and take it and put it in an email or upload it to a website. You're saving time. Time adds up. If the system cannot match a payment to a homeowner, the accountant, which is the user assigned to that community. Now you have a property manager assigned to the community and an accountant. You will need to set up that accountant user on the community homepage. So if you're looking at your community homepage at the top right, you'll see the spot that says accountant. If you edit the community, you can assign that accountant a user, and it has to be a user in TOPS1. So that accountant user will receive a task, and the task is on the TOPS1 homepage to review, and it will say bank lockbox rejections, and an error file will be in your bank attachment gallery. So if you go into the bank attachment gallery, you will see the bank lockbox rejections. If there are any, you will be notified if there was. Reasons for rejections include a change of the address, a change of a homeowner perhaps, things like that. If it can't identify the community, perhaps it's a new community or there's been a change, it will reject it and it will let you know so that you can resolve that. And once the lockbox has been uploaded, you will see an imported file, an imported lockbox file transaction in the community activity feed. So rejections go to the bank's attachment gallery, but your imported lockbox file transactions report will go to the attachment gallery on the community's homepage. And here on the right, you can see a little screenshot image, and it shows a rejected lockbox and then another rejected lockbox. So you can see that attachment gallery from the bank, but a similar attachment gallery, very similar to what this looks like, will be the Lockbox import file transactions on the community homepage. So not to confuse the two. So let's talk about banking, smart banking bank transaction downloads, and this is your bank rec. So this is your auto reconciliation. And again, I don't want to confuse the situation and say you will never have to touch bank rec. It does not do it for you, but it does receive that. It receives the bank balance. It receives the transactions for you. And then all you have to do is compare that to what's on screen. Make sure the balances come out, make sure you reconcile and get that reconciliation report out. Now, a lot of the reconciliation will automatically clear on its own. So it is an automatic reconciliation in that sense. If there's things that it can match exact, if it sees, well, here's some cash receipts and it should be in there, it will clear them. It will be great, but you do need to go in there and take a look at it. So if there are transactions that cannot be cleared, they will be displayed on your bank rec with a red bar. So see our example at the bottom right, it says attention, and you'll also see the number of transactions on your bank's profile page. This is showing there's 127 transactions. And remember, we're using test data. So this may not be accurate. There may not be 127, but in our test data, we kind of try to make a mess of it. So because we like to test things out, but basically you will still have to go into bank reconciliation, make sure it's good every month, but it will be a lot faster because some of those things will automatically be cleared. So you won't have to clear those, but you will have to clear other things and things that have attention next to them the red exclamation marks and things like that to make sure that you balance. And then you will need to print your bank rec, of course, report every month. So it is a lot of the auto reconciliation for you, but you still want to keep tabs on it, keep a pulse on it to make sure that it's doing what you expect it to do. And then the last one is Smart Banking Statement Manual Downloads. And remember, this is Alliance Association Bank. If you have Alliance, you have the opportunity to get PDF statements for a select month that downloads directly into the bank profile gallery. So this allows you to remain in the TOPS One interface. You never have to log into the bank portal to retrieve your statement. So that's time saving right there. You're working in TOPS, you're in TOPS, you get the bank statement. You don't have to go to another website, log in, get that statement, download it, bring it over. None of that. It will automatically have it there for you. And that downloads directly into the bank profile gallery. So again, portfolio banks, click on your bank, and then you have that gallery that will include that statement. And you can download it if you wanted to, or print it simply by clicking on it. So when you're in that gallery, if you click on the little image of the PDF, it will populate on screen. No need to download it really. You just click it, it opens up. But here again, you just get bank statement file. So that's when you're receiving it. You put your statement date in, you get bank statement, and from Alliance, that does automatically bring it in. All right, that's it for my PowerPoint presentation. Now I'm going to show you a few things live in TOPS One, but we will be available for questions until 1:30 p.m. So if you just give me a second, what I'm going to do is bring up my TOPS and show you a couple of these things live in TOPS, and then of course we have 6 minutes to 1:30, so we'll try to be quick here. So I'm just going to minimize this and bring up my TOPS here on screen. Again, continuing to answer your questions through the chat or through questions and through email. So here is portfolio banks from the dropdown. So I clicked portfolio, I clicked on banks. Now I do have an Alliance Association bank, so I'm going to simply click on that. And when I click on it, it's going to open up. And on the right-hand side here, you can see smart banking features. And you can see that none of them are turned on because they all have little dashes there. Okay, so if I wanted to activate them, I would go to Actions and Edit Bank. And it's going to be on the left-hand side now. Things switch around where you don't expect it, but the smart banking settings are now on the left-hand side. And I can go in and let's say that I wanted to turn on bank reconciliation or maybe just validation file. We're going to start small, just do a validation file. I'm going to click the gear. It asks me for a username, a password, and a property manager ID. And then you would enable the communities that are assigned to Alliance, which I don't have any because this is sample data. But you would fill that out and then you would click save and it would tell you an error if there was an error at the bottom of the screen. And then once you save that, there would be a green checkbox next to validation file or lockbox or statement or whatever the gear is that you're doing. So this is just attached to the bank. Now, when you're using smart banking, you'll notice when you're creating a bank or selecting a bank, you have Mutual of Omaha, Alliance, Branch Banking and Trust, Union Bank, and Pacific Premier are already in here. And when you select them, it auto-populates the alias and the bank name. So let's say that you weren't using, let's go back to portfolio banks. Let's say you weren't using one of these banks like Union Bank. You would go to Actions and add a bank. And instead of other, you would choose Union Bank and it would auto-populate the alias and the bank name right there. And you could click save. And now you've got Union Bank. And then you can activate the smart banking features. You can go to Actions and edit bank. And then there they are. And so when you go to portfolio and banks, Union Bank is now in the list. And so here's banking branch and trust. I've already added it. And when I go in there and edit it, you'll notice that its alias is BB&T, banking branch and trust. So there it is. It auto populates, and then there's the settings for it. And it had BB&T has reconciliation and lockbox there. So you'll just see the different ones have different options in the system. Now, if you're going into your properties page to see about that hold payment flag, remember, owners may have a hold payment flag. It's going to be on their property page, and it's here in their flags on their property page. And remember, dash is no, and a green checkbox is yes. So this person is not on the hold payment, but they could be by simply going to actions and edit property. And when you edit the property, you can then turn on the hold payment flag like so, and hit save. And then there it is, it's a green checkbox.